Welcome to Yin Yoga, and today's class is focusing through our hips and through our lower back. So I invite you just to come to sit down in a cross-legged position, and you might like to prop through a blanket, a bolster or cushion. And often when we first sit, it can be a little uncomfortable, and we find that we always lead with the same front leg and have the other one in. So we're going to swap that today. We're going to start in this position, bringing the hands to open on top of the knees, and you might bring the pointer and thumb into a little mudra, Gyan mudra. Roll back through the shoulders and feel some lengthening come through that crown of the head. And if you find you need to prop further, bring something else under the bottom, and what that will allow is the knees to come forward and down. So we're allowing an opening through the inner thighs, some lengthening from the hip socket down into the knees. And I invite you just to close through the eyes. Bringing your awareness into the room and onto the mat. Thanking yourself for finding the time for a nice floor-based Yin slow flow today. We'll take a elevator breath style pranayama today. Whereas if we invite the breath in for one count, we'll exhale for one count. Inhale for 2 counts. Exhale. Extending to 3. Exhaling for 3. Good. Inhaling for 4. And then releasing that breath fully for the full 4 counts as you squeeze that last breath out. Good. Concentrating and inhaling for 5. Really filling up the lungs. And then deeply exhaling. So if you have a longer breath count in your practice, come to 6, 7, or 8, whatever feels good for you. Otherwise, find that final breath count that fills you up fully. And once you release that, then begin to lower the count down, perhaps back to 4. And then maybe 3. 2 finally. And 1. That's a beautiful way of counting but not counting, lengthening, extending through the breath, finding a little bit of stillness. Finding some calm. Blinking open the eyes, and we're going to change that front leg. So for some of you, you'll find maybe one knee sits a little higher. You just to take a moment just to move and adjust into the posture as you need. Good, again, open those palms out. I'm just going to repeat that process one more time with the elevator breathing in your own time. And you can start wherever you would like. It's your practice, remember. Just coming to that full breath wherever it might be. Releasing fully for the same count. And then begin to lower back down. Taking your last breath wherever you might be. We'll rest the hands at heart center. Just take a moment to set an intention for your practice. Good. If you've propped up through a block, just remove that block. You can stay on the blanket if you would like, and we're going to come nice and wide with the legs to a wide seated position, taking a flexion through both toes. Good. Walking the fingers forward just for a gentle forward fold for a moment. And here we're feeling the length and coming underneath the back of the legs as we keep pressing the toes back. Some of you might want to sweep the hands and just take a small bind here through the feet. Just acknowledging how the legs are feeling. Where they're a little tight, and even if you're not binding through the toes, binding through the shins, the ankles, wherever your reach might come to. Good, and then we'll take those hands back out in front and turn the palms over, so we're surrendering the palms. And either coming down onto the forearms and resting. If you have a block handy or a cushion, you might bring it underneath the head for support. Good. And because we're taking this to a yin pose, you can soften through the feet now. You can come out to the side or inwards, or you can stay with that flexion. I just want you to melt down as much as you can into that forward fold. You can have the hands over a bolster or a cushion. Just listening to your body. And you may invite that elevated breath into your practice. It's a beautiful way to take the mind off the time, allowing you just to find an even breath in and out. As the body surrenders and allows some more length, you might be able to take it down one notch lower, or even bringing the head all the way down to the earth. You might change up and change to the bind also on the outer parts of the feet. Or if you're sitting quite tall, maybe turning the hands over to rest on the shins, softening that neck. Just honouring how your body is opening up for you today. I'm going to take 3 more breath counts here. As we bring the hands back under the shoulders, I'm going to bend through those knees and bring them back to hip distance apart. Bring the supporting hands just behind the hips and just take a little windshield wipe of those knees. Good. Just come back to that front neutral position and walk the feet back in a little closer towards the buttocks, keeping the fingertips so that they're facing forward. I'm just going to take the knees to one side. So if we've come to the right side, I'd like you to bring your awareness to the left kneecap, as if I was there pressing my hand on it, and you're just going to shift a little weight in. So you'll feel this through that left hip flexor. You're just noticing as you're pressing and engaging through that left thigh. Beautiful. One more breath. We'll take it up and then over to the other side, so just wherever the legs to fall. And if you were maybe not putting your hand there, but pretending that there's a hand there, you're just slightly pressing that knee away, engaging through that upper thigh. It's a beautiful little release through the hip flexor muscle. Good. 2 more breaths. Lovely. 1 more breath. Good, and then we'll come back to that front seated position. Again, we'll bring the legs out nice and long, and you can stay with that propped position through the buttocks. Move that fleshy goodness so you're sitting forward on your blanket or block or pillow, and then you're finding some nice long length through the legs, and then also from the hips up to the crown of the head. Good. If you've got the fingertips, if they can reach to the earth, or you can come onto the knuckles or tall fingers, just want you to press down here for a moment. Rotate those shoulder blades back and just bring the chin to the chest. Notice how the legs are lengthening. Press them down through the earth. Good. Raise up that chin, and then I want you to move the hands about 1 hand distance behind. Point the toes towards me, a little weight into the hands as you press that chest away. Squeezing those shoulder blades together and gazing up towards the ceiling. Good. One more breath. And then come back to that front seated position. Just adjust those sit bones, and we're going to take the flexion through the feet. Raise up through the hands, and it's an option that you lock through the thumbs. Inhale, grow tall, draw the belly in as you exhale and come down to your first forward fold. And then allow that gaze to come towards the knees. So no matter where you fall, the hands might be on the shins, through the ankles, the outer edge of the feet, through the toes, maybe through a toe bone. We'll just stay here for 2 more breaths, pressing the legs down to the earth, coming nice and long, allowing the lower back a moment to soften, and then we'll roll back up. I'm going to take that one more time. So if you have a strap nearby, you could also use the strap around the balls of the feet. So reach up nice and tall, exhale just for a moment, and then breathe again. Draw that belly in as you exhale forward. Good. So if you've come to the bind, we want to soften through the elbows. The head begins to gaze towards the knees. And again, you can bring a block, a blanket, a pillow underneath the forehead. Whatever feels good for you to allow a softening here. And we'll stay here now, just for a little while longer. Soften the gaze, maybe close through the eyes. You can remove any props whenever you need and really surrender forward into the forward fold. Palms might even come up so they're resting beside the legs. Good, taking 2 more breaths here. And then rolling up nice and slowly. Good, let's draw those knees into the chest, giving ourselves a little hug. Wrap the arms around, sitting nice and tall through that spine. Allowing a little rebound through the lower back. Good. 1 more breath. Lovely. We're going to take our practice down to the ground. So you could bring a blanket under the head if you prefer. We'll draw the knees up into the chest. Gentle little rock side to side. And then we'll take happy baby for a moment here. The hands can come to the back of the knees, coming to a toe bind or to the outer edge of the feet. So remembering this can be done one at a time. One foot would be in the bent knee position and you're just drawing down through one foot if that feels more comfortable. Otherwise staying here in full happy baby. And we tend to hunch through the shoulders, so bring them back and down as much as you can. Keep softening those knees towards the underarms. Soles of the feet are coming up towards the ceiling. We're finding a deep opening through the inner thigh, into the glute muscle as well. Take a moment just to moisten through the lips, give the jaw a little wiggle, maybe even squeezing those eyes closed. Good. 3 more breaths here. One breath. And begin to close up the knees, drawing them into the chest. We'll allow the left leg to come all the way down to the ground. Just take any adjustment you need so that you're feeling as though that lower back is resting nice and long on the earth. We're going to cut through that right kneecap and then open the knee out to the side. So you can bring the hand underneath that knee if you need. Bring a strap onto the foot, drawing it up. And invite that left hand just to rest onto the hip. Good. So that hand placement on the right side is cupping below the kneecap. It's drawing the kneecap, the shin up into the kneecap and then the knee towards the underarm. Good. You could open that left hand out to the side for more balance, palm down or up, or just keeping it on that left hip bone. Good. 2 more breaths here. And what we'll do is bring that right knee back in line with the right hip. Change hands, so we bring the right knee across towards the left hand hip. Change hands, and we don't want to take it any further. We want both the lower back muscles to be on the ground. Then we want to draw that right knee towards the chest. So feeling this through the front of the right hip flexor, through the glute or the sciatic nerve. You could flex through the toes and you'll feel an engagement through the shins as well. Through the front of the feet and maybe into the plantar fascia on the bottom of the foot. Good. It's a very subtle movement and a lot of people take it over too early. Just staying here, just drawing it to where it feels. Good. You can soften that top foot now. And then we'll fully come over onto the left side into a single leg supine twist. So we come over onto the side body, rest the top foot on the long leg and open out that right palm. So open out the right and left palms just off the shoulders. We don't want to be too high. We want to just allow a nice opening and lengthening across the collarbone. You can bring a block or pillow under the top knee for support. And we bring that gentle gaze towards the right side. We're breathing deeply from that right hip bone all the way up to the right underarm. Good. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Mindfully coming out of this posture by bringing the hands beside the hips, rolling back over onto the back, and just make sure you're adjusting so you're even along the mat. Take that right leg nice and long, and we'll draw the left knee in nice and close to the chest. When you're ready, we'll open that left knee out to the side, allowing a nice opening through the inner thigh and a flexion through that left foot. Again, just place that right hand just resting on the right hip. And you might even open the right palm out to the side. Keep cupping through that left hand, drawing it up towards the underarm. Taking one final breath here. Releasing and bringing that knee back in line with the left hip, and then changing hands. Just bringing it across the body so it's coming no further than the right hip bone. And then we draw the knee towards the chest. You might even massage through that left glute, through the sciatic nerve. Good. You can take a flexion through the top foot. Notice how that feels through the shin, the inner thighs. Yoga is all about noticing how your body reacts to one pose to another, how it's able to soften and deepen with the breath. Good. And when you're ready, we'll take it over all the way onto the right side, bringing the block underneath the top knee if you need, resting that left foot on the long straight leg. Opening that left palm out to the side, and we follow it with the gaze. Good. So breathing deeply from that left hip bone under, through the underarm. It's a beautiful lower back release twist. Finding some length and some breath into the back rib cage. We find a softening through the left shoulder. Give those lips a little lick, the jaw a wiggle. Squeeze the eyes closed to soften through the brow. And then settle into the posture for 5 more breaths. Beautiful. The hands come beside the hips, and we'll come back over onto the back. A little counter pose is a reverse child pose, or reverse balasana. We draw the knees up, separate the knees, but keep the toes touching. We're just cupping just underneath those kneecaps. And what we're allowing is the lower back to really press down into the mat, the spine to come nice and long. One last breath here. And we'll shut the knees down, bringing the soles of the feet onto the earth. We're going to open back out into the reclined Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Again, you could bring some blocks or a rolled up towel underneath to support the thigh if you need. Just lift the bottom up and then allow some length from the hips all the way up. And we'll take a cactus arm placement. The elbows are coming across from the shoulders and the palms are opening out. We feel the connection of the soles of the feet, the toes. We feel a deep opening through the inner thighs, and perhaps even a heaviness through the knees. Finding an expansion from the underarm through the side body here, so we're really breathing in and then feeling the energy in the room through the palms. I invite you to bring that breath in through the belly, so you're really belly breathing in. And as you release that, you're feeling that exhale breath come out through the crown of the head or down into the feet. Wherever it's calling for you tonight. It's our final posture in this class before we rest into Shavasana. So maybe even changing the hand placement to create a little halo above the head, holding opposite elbows. And again, inviting that breath into the side body, into the inner groin, inner thighs. Good, one last breath. We bring the hands back beside the hips, close up those knees, draw them into the chest. And then we extend the legs nice and long, taking time to take our final posture of Shavasana. Taking any shapes that you need, blankets, bolsters underneath the back of the knees. And really taking a good 5 to 10 minutes here in Shavasana. You'll find in Yin, it's a beautiful way to sleep soundly after a practice. I hope you've enjoyed our class today. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and joining me.